What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today we are talking about the Essie Winter 2022 collection, which is called Wrapped in Luxury. So we've got 6 brand new polishes, we've got 4 cream finishes and 2 metallic shimmers. But before we dive into the swatches, if you haven't heard of Essie before, they are a mainstream salon nail polish brand and all of their products are aid-free, meaning they are free of 8 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish. They are vegan, meaning they do not use any animal-derived ingredients, and they're cruelty-free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. I know this last one is a point of contention for some people, and there are some sources online that say that Essie is not cruelty-free, but I did do a little bit of research into it. It actually didn't take very long because it is on their FAQ, and Essie says that they do not test their products on animals, and neither does their parent company, L'Oreal, which I think is why a lot of people thought that they maybe did test on animals. But I also checked the L'Oreal website and they said that they haven't done animal testing since 1989. So they are in fact cruelty free. But yeah, like I said, we've got 6 brand new colors to go over and I was actually pretty surprised with some of these shades. So let me dive into the swatches, then we'll talk a little bit more about my thoughts and also the pricing and availability and all that good stuff. So roll the footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today it's the Orly Bonder base coat. So starting off with the namesake of the collection, this is Wrapped in Luxury and it's this really gorgeous deep cranberry color. So I think in the bottle it actually looks a little bit more pinky toned, but on my nails it looked a little bit more reddish, and as you can see it had this nice almost jelly-like formula, so it looks a little bit lighter on first application, but the more coats that you do the deeper it gets, and I loved the way that it looked in 2 coats. I think this is such a classic pinky red tone. It's nice and deep and wintry, but I feel like this also could work for any time of year. Next up we have the shade Midnight Delight, and this one I would describe as a sort of caramel brown color. It's sort of this medium color. It definitely has an orangey tone to it, and as you can see the opacity was incredible. Now I do have short nails, but this was a 1 coater on me and I would totally wear this with a full manicure in 1 coat. I am showing you a second just so you could see what it looks like, but it is a really gorgeous color and I think it's an interesting pick for a winter collection. I typically see this sort of shade more in the fall, but I think it actually really works because it reminds me, I don't know, of like gingerbread cookies. Next up we have Not So Silent Night, and this one is a golden brown metallic, and then within that we actually have these little tiny gold flecks. They're kind of hard to see on camera, but if you see those little random sparkles as I move my nail around, that's those little flecks and it adds so much depth to it. This was actually also a 1 coater, but I did do a second just to show you what that looked like, and I instantly fell in love with this. It very vaguely reminded me of the Orly Light My Campfire shade that I absolutely loved. This one I would say is a little bit different though. It's definitely more of a brownish gold instead of an orangey gold, but oh my gosh, what a stunning shade. Moving on, we have the shade Sleigh It, and this one is a taupey brownish gray kind of cream. Again, just an amazing, super opaque formula. I don't know what it is about these shades, but they were just all 1 coaters on me, or almost 1 coaters, and I was so impressed. This one I noticed did dry down slightly darker than it looked in the bottle, but still a really gorgeous shade, and I think this is one of the types of colors that Essie does really well. It kind of feels like a classic neutral shade. I love that it sort of has this almost grayish undertone to it. It feels very wintry, but it also just feels like an any time of year staple. Next up we have the absolute standout of the collection. This one is called Head to Mistletoe, and it is a soft sage green metallic, and again we have these little golden flecks running throughout. Now I have to say, when I first saw this one from a distance, I thought it was just going to be like a soft sage green metallic shade, kind of basic, and I love a green, but when I saw those little flecks, I instantly fell in love. I think it adds so much dimension to the polish. It makes it such a special shade, and it definitely makes it feel a little bit more wintry, holiday-like than if it was just a plain green. So very excited about this one. Gonna wear it a lot. And last but not least, we have Carol's and Caviar, and this one is sort of a dusty navy blue cream shade. And again, this is one of the polishes that I thought in the bottle was kind of going to be a little bit basic, but I ended up absolutely loving it on my nails. Instead of leaning more on the navy blue side, it definitely leans more on the deep gray side, and I think that just makes it feel very special and wintry and a little bit moody for like stormy weather, and I just think it's really gorgeous. And again, amazing formula, super easy to work with. So here are all the shades together, and I have to say I'm really pleasantly surprised with the color story here. Sometimes Essie comes out with great individual shades, but I don't love the way that they look together, and I don't always think they fit, but all of these feel really perfect for this time of year. I think they take such a classic mix of the usual holiday colors, but they put a tiny little twist on them that makes them feel a little bit more unique and also like polishes that you could wear outside of the holiday season while still feeling very festive. So I think they actually did a great job with these, and all of the formulas were super easy to work with. So yeah, very happy with these. So those are the polishes, and overall I was so impressed with those shimmers. But honestly, I think the thing with Essie is their formulas have consistently impressed me since I started using them again. When I first got into nail polish many years ago, I felt that Essie was a little inconsistent in quality. I thought they were a little runny and sometimes very sheer, so I stopped using them for years. But then once I got back into using them, which was only in the last couple of years, I found their formula to be so improved. A lot of their polishes are one coaters on me. I love their new brush. So overall, that has been very consistently good. The only thing I find to be hit or miss with Essie is their color story, and I know because they are a mainstream brand and they're in a lot of drugstores that they tend to play it a little bit safe, which is totally fine because of course that is what sells the most. But I do think that this color story really worked for me, and like I said, I especially loved those metallic shimmers. I was really impressed with those extra little flecks, and I do think that they sometimes dip their toes into being a little bit more creative, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, I think they're a great basic beginner brand to start with, and a lot of times they do like a little funky extra thing that makes them feel a little bit more special than usual. So yeah, these polishes come in 13.5 milliliter bottles. They do have a wide flat brush that has a rounded tip, so I think application is incredibly easy now, and they're also very self-leveling, so a lot nicer than what I was used to back in the day. Now, the pricing for these does vary based on where you purchase them. They're available on Amazon. I believe they're available at Target and Ulta, and also drugstores like CVS, and they tend to hover around $9 to $10 USD each. So I'm going to put some links down in the description where you can purchase them. But yeah, overall, I think I'm pretty impressed with these. I think it's a nice color story, and I think we have some really nice colors. But I would love to hear what you think. What do you think of these polishes? What do you think of the color story? What do you think of the basics? And also, do you have any thoughts on how Essie's formula has improved, or do you think it hasn't improved? We'll leave it all in the comments. We can chat about it. If you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please give this one a thumbs up. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. And of course, a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon, my Royal Astronomer Amanda M, as well as my Cosmic Admirals Rocket Man's daughter, Paula, Ken, and Rosie. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question is a spicy one from Patreon supporter Rosie, and Rosie wants to know, have you ever felt pressured to review a collection a certain way? For instance, if a collection is terrible, but it is a really popular brand and you might get a negative reaction from fans, do you feel like you can't review it? Ooh, oh my gosh, my heart is already racing about this one. So this is a difficult situation to navigate online. First, I do want to just flat out say, I, over anything else, value honesty. So I am always going to give my honest opinion. I will never lie and say that I like something or think it's good quality if it isn't. So I think that's a really important distinction to make. I know that sometimes it can be a little bit murky where people feel like I'm being too positive or, you know, I'm being too lenient on brands, but I like to take a lot of things into consideration. One of the important things to me is the price. So if it's a drugstore or dollars to a brand, I'm going to be a lot more lenient because it's a lot less expensive. So I'm going to treat it that way. I'm not going to compare it to like a very nice boutique brand. The other thing is I also try to think of a lot of polishes for the average person. Now, I am a person who has thousands of bottles of nail polish, so of course not every basic red is going to be particularly exciting for me, but like I said, I try to think of it in terms of the average person. So if the average person with X amount of nail polishes, not as many as me, wants a red nail polish, is this one going to be a good one for them to purchase? So that is how I try to think of my reviews in general. So if you think that I'm maybe being a little bit more lenient or positive, those are two of the things that I take into consideration that I think are really important, and also taking into consideration that I love nail polish, and even if I'm not partial to a particular color, if it has a good formula, if it's good quality, I'm still going to say it's good. Just because it's not my personal taste in color, that doesn't mean that it's a bad polish. But that being said, I think my audience is kind of split into two groups, one being people who are interested in reviews and the other being people who are here for the positive vibes, because I do think I'm a pretty positive person. But unfortunately, sometimes that can be an issue because people will get upset if I review something negatively. And honestly, this is about to get like a tiny bit ranty, but I do think that that is a dangerous mindset to have as a consumer. I think it's really important to be honest about giving brands feedback, because if a product isn't good and they aren't getting feedback about it, there's no reason for them to improve. So a lot of times if I'm being negative about a brand, and a lot of times it's about a brand that I really love, that's just me giving them feedback so that they can take that feedback and make it better in the future. I think Essie actually is a perfect example of that, because I used to not like Essie. I guess a lot of people used to not like Essie, and then over time they improved. So because people didn't like them and gave them negative opinions, they were able to improve their formula and make something a lot better. So yeah, people can be a little bit harsh about those reviews though. I know that there are some brands that if I don't like a certain collection or polish from them, I'm just not going to talk about on my channel because I don't want to be getting threats. And then there are some brands that I know can handle it, and I know my audience for the most part can handle me giving constructive feedback. And in those cases, I will just share the review even if it is negative. But even then, it can be really stressful. I think my most recent negative video was the China Glaze I Don't Give a Sip collection, and I got a lot of really mean comments on there. I mean, I got a lot of people who disagreed with me, and I think that's totally fine, but then there were a lot of people who were saying just downright nasty things. I got a lot of people being like, well, clearly Kelly is on her period today because she is ranting for no reason, which I think is honestly uncalled for, because I was just giving my honest opinion about a polish. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm like, you know, trying to be mean or anything right now. I'm just trying to share my process for all of this. But yeah, basically, I will always be 100% honest, but I also try to keep it very positive, which again is not to say that I will lie and say something is good if it's not, but a lot of times if it's something that I just think is going to be a touchy subject, I'm just not going to review it. So if you ever see a collection that's not reviewed on my channel, it might mean that I just didn't think it was good enough quality to share, and I was just worried that people were going to be really mean to me, because if you think about it, I know it's easier on the internet, but I am just one person making these videos in my apartment. I don't have anybody helping me. I don't know. I'm the person reading the comments. I'm the person responding to the comments. I'm the person editing the videos. You know, it's all me, and I'm just a regular human person. So those types of comments, again, very great to disagree with me. I think that's totally fine. If you think something's boring, if you tried it and you think it's poor quality, feel free to share it. If you think that I am a bad person, or, you know, if you want to complain about my menstrual cycle, then maybe think about it before you say it. But if you are just saying something mean because you're upset that I am giving negative feedback, then maybe it's time to take a step back and think about, you know, why am I upset that she is sharing her honest opinion? Because again, I think the most important thing at the end of the day is to be honest, because what would be the point of a review channel if I'm lying about the quality of a product, because I don't think that would make me a review channel at all. I think that would just make me I don't know, what would you even call that? I feel like this might be a little bit too serious to get into. And honestly, I do anticipate that someone's going to be upset at me for this, because people do get upset whenever I bring up anything like this, so it's definitely a difficult road to navigate. But again, just remember, I am just one person. I have my opinions. They might not be the same as yours, and that is the beauty of humanity, because we can disagree on things, but we can still coexist. I don't even remember what the original question was. Have you ever felt pressured to review a collection a certain way? No, I haven't. At the end of the day, I just might not review it, which I think is the second question. If a collection is terrible, but it's a popular brand, do you feel like you can't review it? Very rarely I will feel that I just don't want to deal with the hatred that comes from it. So yeah, that's it. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.